Sorry, it's good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Sheikh Tanvir Asif. In the Civil Services Mains Examination 2016, I got 25th rank. Specifically, my score in Political Science Optional was 326, which was one of the highest score this year. I'm here today to share my Political Science Optional strategy with you. I assume that the audience that is listening to me is at the beginner level or at the intermediate level. So for that way, I will pronounce the basic reading skills for optional and then the material and the sources required for preparation of political science. Okay, and then I'll tell my strategy before I end up this session. I come from Karnataka, another part of Karnataka, that is Gulbarga. Then let's start with the basic reading skills. Okay. Since this exam is very dicey, at 3 stages you have to cross the prelims hurdle and then the subjective answer writing in mains before you appear for interview for your oral skills to be tested by your personality. The main important hurdle in this entire process is to fetch marks in your mains, right? Out of the 1750 marks, the most decisive phase for you to get into the list is to score higher marks in this area, that is mains. We know that for that to happen, and especially in our optional, we should be confident as to how we read the books, how the basic reading skills are to be there for us to comprehend the subject and then to use it to the perfection and score more marks. This is a book written by Mortimer J. Adler. A very fantastic book in which he explains how there are different types of reading. At initial level, there is just the beginner's reading. Then photocopying a book, Xerox reading, skimming the book. Then comes the next level of reading, which is analytical reading. And then there is the fourth and highest level of reading, that is syntopic reading, in which you read a theme from different sources. So these are the ways in which you read. Along with that, this book also talks about different areas, how to read history, how to read geography, how to read current affairs, how to make notes. So you see, it's very relevant for civil services exam and especially for mains. Because even after spending many years, we do not get the knack of scoring more marks because during the course of preparation in our optionals, we do not comprehend things properly. So apart from all those things, here you will get a trick actually for using the book in front of you, reading it for say 30 minutes or 1 hour and getting inputs from that book for your optional subject. In my case, political science and international relation. Okay. This was about the book which would help you in your reading skills. Okay. When you're reading your optional subject, it is pertinent for you to read standard books along with notes. And while you're reading standard books, okay, since the exam is very comprehensive, since the demand is very large, there will be a lot of sources in front of you. By this reading techniques, initial 4-5 days you spend on this book will help you to reduce the time which you'd spend for reading things. This will also tell how to read articles, how to make use of them. So in this short time of say 30 minutes or 1 hour, you get to know the important crux of a book. For example, if recently in 2016, there was a book by Milan Vaishnav, When Crime Pays. This book will tell you how to read the cover of that book, how to read the contents, how to read the information given in the preface and the actual book. In just in the initial stages. It talks about the ways in which you can read in just a short time, like 30 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, this is how you're reducing the large ball of UPSC by managing your reading skill. Ironically, this should be something which we should have been taught in our school, but in absence of that, it is important for us to begin with such a material. So, if a person knows how he has to read the book actually, he will get the maximum dividend out of that. Okay, I talked about Milan Vaishnav and his book When Crime Pays. When I saw that book, I didn't read it completely. I saw the it in Amazon.in. Okay, the initial preview which was shown there. I could see by the very construct of the contents, Milan Vaishnav is talking about the marketplace model of Indian electoral democracy, in which criminal politicians have an incentive, because by the virtue of fast resolution of problems, it is felt among the constituents that when they approach the criminal politician, because of his personality, authoritarian personality, he gets the work done. So he says that criminal politicians do not win in spite of, but because of being criminal. That gives them that advantage. How did I get to know, these things? One is, you have to see that actual book in only 15 to 20 minutes. As your regular reading goes, you can do this for 20 to 30 books for your optional. In the matter of, say, one day, you are in a position as to know what the book speaks about and which scholar has what kind of ideological and orientation in his general discourse. So this is about the basic reading skills, a short introduction to that. We could go longer as to how actually we should read a book, which is a very broad and very important aspect of civil service preparation. And let me tell you about I'm assuming that my audience is at the beginner level. I will tell the materials and the sources that are required for preparing political science optional. You should begin by the class notes, if at all you take any class. That is the initial thing which you have to do. Okay, and after that, you have to go for standard books. And this you have to supplement with resources like articles in different news columns, okay, book reviews. There are very beautiful YouTube channels which will help you for your optional preparation. Okay, so YouTube channels will also play an important role. There, Rajya Sabha TV. In that, you have 3 different relevant programs: World Focus, which will help you in IR; Indian Standard Time. Here, the host of the program, Siddharth Vardarajan, invites specialists in the respective fields and talks with them. And more often it happens so that the interview that happens is on a book. For example, I saw an interview with Bhiku Parikh. There he was talking about his book, Debating India. So, in the short span of 20 minutes, you get to know what Bhiku Parikh talks about, his multiculturalism, his idea about the public deliberative opinion in Indian past, and how it was the organized activity, the public decision making, the deliberative democracy. He talks a lot on those things, and in that short time he talks on various issues as well. So this is something which you can refer in our Rajya Sabha television. And then you also have programs like Policy Watch. Here I do not mean to see all the programs, but the relevant ones, whenever you feel that monotonic reading has taken a lot of your energy. And along with this, there's this important aspect of writing a lot of answers. It's very important in your optional. So I'll be talking about writing skills later. Okay, so what do we actually do in the standard books? There are a list of books for different sections and parts. Okay, This is paper 1 and this is paper 2. In paper 1, part A, this area is relatively very broad and very important for you to have a grasp in your optional. Because if you understand that part very well, there is a lot of overlap between part A, which you see, I mean the Western thought, Indian thought, political ideologies, and in the different sections like part C. And the part A will also help you in part B, that is Indian government and politics. Okay, so give a lot of time for this section. And if you give the time, it is not undue. It will help you in manifold ways. For this section, what I read was, many people say to read Brian Nelson and his book Western Political Thought. I did not read for a reason, because Western political thought is one part of one line, in the syllabus. But if you read a book for that, many people also recommend to read Political Ideologies by Andrew Haywood and then O.P. Guaba for political theory. So it becomes quite heavy for you, reading 3 books per part 1 and reading nearly nothing for say part C or part B, part 2 or part 4. So therefore you have to reduce down the sources. The important ingredients, it is important for you to reduce down the number of sources. So I saw that dividend-wise, reading Brian Nelson, in my opinion, was not marks fetching. Instead of that, what I did was, I read Political Ideologies by Andrew Haywood. Okay, and then I read Political Theory by O.P. Guaba. This along with the regular class notes. Okay, that was what I did for part 1. The book by Political Ideologies by Andrew Haywood is a delight to read. You see all the ideologies starting from liberalism, and you see Marxism, you see feminism, and all the different ideologies very creatively and beautifully constructed there. If you may feel, why do I read for ideologies a book? There is a reason. Because the content in that book overlaps in your comparative politics as well. It will help you in your IR as well. Okay, Will Kimlicka, his concept of minority rights, etc. Okay, and there it is like a crux of, part A. Reading that book will furnish you with the continuous critical analysis that's there in your mind, in which, because the answers you see are very diverse. If you go by monotonic preparation, it may so happen that you do not have the means to critically analyze the answer and write for the answer, which can fetch you marks. For part B in paper 1, few may contest this, but I had read Oxford Companion for Politics in India. Along with D.D. Basu. Okay, Lakshmikant is for polity, for general studies. In D.D. Basu, there are 2 things which you shouldn't miss. One is the fundamental rights and the other is center-state relations. It is very well argued, and it gives you a lot of information for your optional. Those 2 chapters from D.D. Basu. And the remaining things, say parliament, federalism, or government, and then the movements, political parties, and all those issues, you can go see the relevant chapter in this book. This book is edited by Pratap Bhanu Mehta along with Neeraj Goyal. So this is a very important book. It's a fat book. Do not read page by page. Read this book according to the tools and skills you get after reading this book. I mean, you have to read it in a way which gives you devoured, which gives you maximum information. I got 326 in optional. Part of the reason was I attempted 3 questions from part B, and much of it was reflected there. Okay, the scholars, the chapters that are written in the books are by subject experts. If you quote anything that you remember from that book, it's like you're quoting that scholar. What I used to do was, whatever I remember from that particular chapter, I used to quote the name of that scholar. If Zoya Hassan is written on, say, party system, I used to quote Zoya Hassan, and whatever I remember from that book, I used to mention it there. So it makes easier for you. Okay, so you have to read that book if you want to, if you feel that reading Fadia is also a very fat book. But what I felt was the arguments there were not well constructed, did not furnish with the critical abilities which are required to present beautiful answers. And in paper 2, okay, the part A section, that is comparative politics, there are two possibilities. You can either read global politics by Haywood and a big or, globalization of world politics by Baylis and Stephen Smith. I read Globalization of World Politics by Baylis and Stephen Smith again for a reason, because that book is by Oxford publication, as is the comparative politics in India. And the subjects, I mean the individual chapters are written by subject experts. For example, the chapter on feminism in international relation is written by your famous feminist in political science. Okay, and likewise there are different sections. Okay, subject experts have written those chapters, and that book also is a very beautiful book and a delight to read. If you find the language in that book difficult, you can go for Global Politics by Andrew Haywood. That is also a good book, and that is along with notes. Notes again for this part are important, because the subject will be very huge for you to tackle. Fine, that was what I did. And then for part B in paper 2, I read David Malone, Does Elephants Dance? Okay, this I wrote. And since part 2 and part 2 of both the papers is very dynamic, you have to do a lot of other things. This is the part in standard books, and that's why I'm not going on to what other things you can do. This was the basic set of books that I read, standard books that I read. And again, I would emphasize a point that when someone refers to you a standard book, it doesn't mean that you have to read everything in that book. Okay? What benefits you? You should always ask yourself, okay, I'm reading this. What is the utility of this area in exam? If you think that you can use that information in your answers, go ahead. Else, do not go ahead. Chuck it. Fine. That is about standard books. Okay. And then about articles and book reviews. In regular news columns, you see book reviews by different, different people. This is relatively easier for you to do, and you can from a particular article and in that review you can say note down 2 points. Note down 2 points, which will help you in quoting that scholar in your optional, in your political science optional. For political science, it's very important because there will be different political thinkers in India and in the world stage. Okay, reading books even by this stage, even by this style, would be very difficult. Hai? So you use the scholars there. Fine. And in the regular, this book review, I would also add a book called 50 Key Thinkers. This book you do not have to read page by page. Okay, there are 50 different key thinkers. Just by a very glance over the chapter, you will understand the important jargons and terms. Even if you know those terms, it's enough for you. There's 2 books by Routledge publication. Okay, one is for 50 key thinkers and 50 key political thinkers, and then the other is 50 key thinkers in IR. Okay, both these things, in the matter of say 5 to 6 hours, I just glanced it and found the key terms and wrote it in the content section. What are the key ideas? For example, there is a scholar in IR called Charles Biddes. Okay, the author in the very introduction has written that he has internationalized Marx, brought on in ethical questions of moral nature in international relation, because international relation is very dominated by realist thought. So those key things can be found by even a cursory understanding or cursory look over the chapters in that book. So it helped me to supplement my answers. See, all the answers will be similar, because if everyone is reading similar stuff, answers will be similar. But you have to use those same sources to make it diverse, to make it different, by connecting the different areas. Okay, that will help you, because you're not spending a lot of time on that. So that will help you in writing good answers. For part 4, articles are the most important thing. I mean, paper 2, part 2, part B. Articles are very important. You have to specifically go for, articles by ITSA, okay? It's a think tank. They bring in a lot of articles in IR, okay? Likewise, you can read, some articles in New York Times. They're very well written, because if someone, a dominant person like Zakaria, okay, he writes in such papers, you'll get new realistic understanding and the ways to, comprehend the IR stuff. Okay, this doesn't mean that you have to visit it regularly. You can visit it twice a week, or say once in 10 days or something like that. You have to, visit these think tanks. Articles are very important. What I did was, for part B, paper 2, was I used to see World Focus, IST and the articles. I used to make an opinion about the scholar. Okay, say we talk about Kamal Sibal. He has a very skeptical view about US foreign policy. Okay, pure selfish interest he talks about. So safely what you can do is, if you're not getting a scholar on Indo-US relations, okay, and if you are to present a negative picture, by the very information you have, even if you do not remember verbatim the quote of that person, you can say that Kamal Sibal is skeptical because they think only of their self-interest to the maximum extent. Once exploited, they do not think about the country. Okay, so this is the way. Even without reading, you have to increase your, marks by using the information that's there in the market. Fine. And the articles again will play an important role for part B, paper 1, part B, because that too is dynamic in nature. Fine. Along with that, I'll tell in the strategy part, there's something called cross-pollination. You have to talk to people from different options. And you can talk to people from law option, okay, law optional subject, about, say, case laws. For part 2, there is part B of paper 1, case laws are very important. Okay, on governor, on the role of president, okay, role of speaker. If you remember case laws, you can talk with the person from that options, along with the regular things you have. In that book, Oxford Companion for Politics in India, you get very good material on case laws. Okay, even if you do not read completely, you can always get that and the understanding of that. Fine. So this is about using the resources. You should remember that different people will have different strategies. They will make an argument, they present before you a strategy, but that is dependent on their personality. Fine, what suits them. And they will also give along with that strategy some reasons. If those reasons are persuasive enough, take it. Or else there will be different other strategies which suit you. Reason it out with them, because man is a rational animal. You have to reason it out and take what you think is relevant for your personality. Fine. What I say doesn't mean that it's a death note. I mean, it's not a final thing. You can always use it for your variation. Apart from that, for the books, there are many other YouTube channels. Okay, there is this channel by School of Life. There you get short videos on political thinkers. Okay? Likewise, you get many other such channels. Just put the name of that thinker, you will get relevant information. This can be one way. And the second way could be, I talked about book reviews. Whenever a person launches a book, say C. Raja Mohan, when he launched his book Modi's World, he also has this book launch. In half an hour, you can get the contents of what he's talking about that book. Fine? So it helps you. You remember whatever he talked there. You can make some short notes, some 4-5 points, and use it in your answers. This is how you make it diverse. Okay? This is about the standard books and things. Now I'll tell you my strategy about the optional. What I used to do was, I was not a very, a guy who supports making lengthy notes. There's no point in writing another book to understand a book. Fine. So what I used to do was, I used to read in the book itself, make notes in the margin. Okay. Again, I'm not prescribing that this is the best way. This is something I did. After I read it for say 1 or 2 times, what I used to do was, I used to take those key terms, those jargons, the names of the books, the thinkers there in the relevant ideology or relevant information. I used to reduce down it to a very manageable size. Okay, I used to make short clips, I mean, of the terms, of the jargons, so that I could read it even while I was moving. Fine. So that was the crisp notes I made for political science. In the notes section also, I made a chart and I divided it into 20 columns and rows. Okay, and what I did was, in those small sections, I used to write the names, say Adorno, Theodor Adorno. Okay, here I used to write some of the key ideas that by this person. He talks about authoritarian personality. Okay, he talks about F scale. Okay, he was one of the thinker in the Marxist thought. Okay, critical thinker. Okay, he also talked extensively about pop music and how it killed folk music. Okay, by the imposition of the capitalistic culture, by reducing down the different ways of music expression and bringing that. So what I mean by this is, you have a paper, and in that paper you have 50 thinkers, and you have written their books, you have written their key ideas. How it helps you, I'll tell you. You remember them, and that's on your fingertips. Whenever you present some information, say you are writing an answer on totalitarianism, along with Hannah Arendt, you can always mention Theodor Adorno and his authoritarian personality. What he tells is that the authoritarianness is there in every person, but there's a scale in that. You know, it can vary from one level to another level. That is what he talks about, F scale, that is fastest scale. Okay. So, and you know, you have to, if you remember them properly, you will know what is to be connected where. Likewise for Althusser, okay, what I did was his defense of Marxism. He talked about episteme. In defending Marx, he told that we should be sympathetic towards Marx because he created a new knowledge system, a new epistemology. And he also told that Marx is, you know, young Marx and old Marx. Important work of Marx, say Alienation, which concerns human nature, is there in earlier parts. So he was kind of defending, and I wrote only those words, defense of Marx, new episteme, along with his post-structural understanding and explanation. So this helped me in remembering things and using them, and using them in a web. I did this for part A and part C. This you have to do along with this thing, 50 key thinkers for a political thinker and for international relations. Okay, in this something other will also help you. There's a dictionary, again by Oxford publication. Okay, here you will find the clear expression of all the terms in your optional. There will be thinkers in that. Okay, the write-up on the thinkers is also very, very, very expressive and very nice. Okay, you can use that information and put up that term word there. It will be one-day exercise for you. And believe me, it can fetch you highest marks. These two things, made my answers such diverse that I had things on my fingertips, and I could use them wherever I thought that they fetch me marks. It's about fetching marks. Okay, this is one part of my strategy. Okay, this was one part of my strategy, and then the other part, and the most important part of my strategy, was what I called cross-pollination. Okay. When I used to sit, say, eat food or go out, I used to talk with persons and people from other optionals. Say when I talk to a student from political admin, PABAD optional, I used to talk about the thinkers there, say Woodrow Wilson, okay, F.W. Taylor, Follett, okay. I used to talk about those people, Herbert Simon. In decision making, we have that. There's a lot of overlap in decision making theory, which will help us for IR. You can know it from the PABAD guy. Even if you're not reading a book for that, there is always a scope for cross-pollination. He'll be reading for the entire day. And when you ask him the question, very happily he'll tell 2-3 things which will be helpful for you. Once I talked with a sociology optional guy. I talked about Durkheim. In political sociology also you have a lot of thinkers. You have Durkheim, you have Weber, okay? And then you have Talcott Parson. You have different thinkers. Once I talked about Durkheim and his concept of suicide, he very energetically told me that because of increased hopes, because of increase in individualistic thought, because of closing of ties with families, okay, man is more prone to suicidal tendencies. Okay. Similar thing is also talked about who? Marx talks about alienation. When you're writing the answer by Marx, you can always refer that Durkheim also feels that increasing individualism, increasing hopes, consumerism is leading people towards suicide. That's how your answer is diversified. Not by reading that thing in your books or in your notes, but by talking to people. This is the school of life. That is the book of life. You learn from people. Likewise, there are other options. From philosophy, you have from Socrates, Plato to Wittgenstein, Bertrand Russell, everyone. Right? When you talk to them, he will tell you some things which are most important for you. Okay? That is cross-pollination. In economics, last year you had a Nobel Prize for contract theory. Fine. And this year, Kenneth Arrow died. He's given impossibility theorem. See, it is contemporary. Okay? While you use that impossibility theorem, what he says by that is the choices at individual level cannot be meaningfully aggregated at the public level. He says that individual may vote by a system, say first past post system, but only those 30% of the preferences are aggregated, not the all preferences. He says to integrate all the preferences, okay, individual preferences, take them all and have a public model, public choice is very difficult. That is the impossibility theorem he gives. Last year he died, last year or this year, he died, okay. So that is the contemporary touch. In contract theory, the Nobel laureate who got, he has given how to manage asymmetrical information. In this age, consumer will have less information than the producer. Producer will try to persuade the consumer. In the presence of that asymmetric information, how to use it for maximum. That is what contract theory Nobel Prize gave you. You can use it that way for, say, social contract. In social contract, there are different types of social contracts. Feminists say that we should go for sexual contract. Social contract doesn't make sense because the opinion of women was not taken in. Okay? Carol Patman tells that. You can use Carol Patman's argument and extend it and say that even the contract theory which says that asymmetrical information is there. You know, not everyone is a participant. Even if they're a participant, they do not have the equal know-how. You can go that way. I told this in detail just to tell you how much cross-pollination helps you. Philosophy to psychology to history to geography. With geography, you can discuss geopolitics. There is something called as old geopolitics and new geopolitics. When I talked with one of the friend in geography, he talked about Spikeman, he talked about the old geopolitic thinkers. And then he was not able to tell me about the new geopolitics. I told him that Richard Falk talks about new geopolitics. Along with the normal understanding of land, there's also something called a soft power, which can be aggregated at the geopolitical level. Okay? This is how you cross-pollinate. And that makes your answer all the more awesome, all the more diverse, new, okay, creative. Because that's ingrained in you, that you have learned by talking to people. Okay? Then I talked about how you can use book reviews and how you can use YouTube videos in making these notes and making your answers diverse, along with standard books. Okay? I had also made this strategy to, after mains, to give 70% of my time to optional subject and 30% to my GS. This was a decision I took. It paid me off. See, political science has a lot of overlap. Even if you're giving 70% of the time, one, it will fetch you more marks, it will get you a good rank, and along with that, it also helped me in paper 2. Okay? In paper 2 also I got good marks. Fine. So it will help you in paper 2, it will help you in paper 1. So 70% of the time I used to spend for optional. One, it paid heavily and there was overlap as well. And the overlap part is also quite noticeable. You have to consciously understand there is a lot of overlap, and while you're reading that section, you should relate it there. For example, let me tell about overlap. Okay. While you read world history, okay, for your GS, it's much similar to reading foreign policy, bilateral relations or multilateral relations. You read World War I, you read World War II, you read Cold War, you read the entire history there. You read Enlightenment, and after that the balance of power changes everything. So it helps, while you're reading world history, you have to always have this in mind, the foreign policy angle. Okay? The events in world history will become causes in your optional, okay, as a result of that. So you have to always go for cross-pollination between these two areas. And then you will have polity, definitely for constitutional law, not constitutional law, for constitutionalism and for federalism and all such topics. And then it will help you in governance. Then IR, everyone knows it. This is in paper 1, this is in paper 2. Okay. Then in paper 3, we have political economy. Okay. And then ethics, it's all the more important. Justice is central to political science, and it's central to ethics as well. All of the thinkers you see, for Aristotle, proportionality is justice. Give people according to their merit, according to the quality. Okay? And you will have utilitarians who would say, give to those who create maximum happiness. Okay? And also, there will be socialists who would be telling, give to those who most need it. Fine? Capitalist would say, give to the person who owns it. So these are the types and kinds of justice which you learn in your optional, and at the same time use it in your ethics. Fine? This is how there's an overlap, and you have to consciously understand that there's an overlap, and while reading, use it that way. Fine? And I cleared this exam in second attempt. In first attempt, there were some mistakes I made. Okay, I'll talk about that as well. In my first attempt, I read only the class notes. Though I remembered things, but I was not able to actually use them in an answer and make my answers beautiful. Okay, I was not able to do that because once I started with, say, Plato and talked about his philosopher king. Okay. And then the need for someone who is disenchanted, who doesn't have the desire to become philosopher. Okay. If I do not have a complete understanding, criticism and the contrasting thing, if I cannot contrast this, it cannot present a good picture. So for that I diversified, and at the same time, it's not like I read completely. I read it with a way, a very analytical and creative way to read maximum information in short time. Okay. That was something which I did. And then there's important aspect as well for answer writing. Okay. In your optional subject, any optional subject, and political science in particular, the way you present your answer is also very important. Okay. Here, whenever there is a question, you have to say question is a long question. You have to understand what is the core theme, what is the central theme in that question. Understand it. Understanding that itself requires comprehension. Understanding that itself requires reading skills. I'll give an example. History of all hitherto existing societies is history of class struggle. In this, it's important for you to understand what is the core theme, what is the main theme. Is history main theme or class struggle a main theme? Class struggle is a main theme. And in that, there are two concepts. One is struggle and one is class. When you're talking about, you have to begin by class or by struggle. Okay? And then tell how historically in feudal system and in the slave system, in capitalist system, in social system or a probable communist system, will there be a concept of class. Okay? And at the same time, know also who others have given this concept of class. Okay? For example, by cross-pollination, I learned that Weber also has given that concept of class. For him, the concept of class is different. Party, group, class, political class, economic class, family. There are different classes for Weber. But for Marx, class is only economic class. Okay? You can make that distinction. You begin by the core theme, by defining what the core theme is. Okay? By defining what the core theme is. And then explain. Then there is also the part of history. You explain how historically slave society was society and all. And then you talk about other conceptions, not just Marx alone. Even if the question is on Marx, explain other conception of class. And then at the end, you can criticize Marx for being reductionist. Popper says that they are reductionists and such and so on and so on. Okay? So this is the broad way of my political science preparation. Okay? At the same time, you have to remember that in this preparation, you will have a lot of problems. Okay? There will be consistent desires that will be plugging you down. There will be a disbelief and mental division in thought. Okay? You have to remember this, that you have to cut the ropes which are distracting you. In the Batman movie, you have seen that the lead character is not jump out of the well unless he cuts the rope itself. The rope may be the fear of failure. self-doubt, the desires that you have, the tendency to go out, hang out, or do whatever you want, laziness. These all factors you have to cut down, and only then can you take the leap, jump out and clear this exam. Fine. And then always remember that there's immense power in belief in yourself, the power of attraction. Beginning by I can makes all the more easy for you. The entire universe, as they say, helps you in doing that. The very personality, your movement, your thought, the way you sit, the way you sleep, I mean, that power of positive thinking reflects in your personality. Avoid negative people. Stay in the company of those people who support you, understand you, okay? Like-minded people, fine. And always remember that there is no second attempt. Second attempt also is a rope that is pulling you down. Because we remember that there is someone to rescue, we do not give our fullest. Okay? There is this experiment in which they put a rat in a bucket and rescue the rat after 15 minutes. An average rat dies in 15 minutes. And they put it again in the bucket and see how much more it swims. For their astonishment, it swam for 60 hours with the belief that he will be rescued. There's one thing, the rat had the belief that it can survive. Likewise, even you should have the belief that with the abilities you have, you can succeed. Rat believed that there was someone to rescue it from that system. The only thing which will rescue you from this system is by cutting the rope of second attempt. If there is a second attempt to rescue you, believe me, you will not clear this exam in first attempt. You can do it, be creative, be positive, believe in yourself, and you'll do it. Thank you. Have a nice day.